Nonia, thanks very much for your time coming into studio. I mean, in theory, this is meant to be a positive visit, isn't it? But then on the one hand, we have this issue that's unfolded today where South African and other media have been barred from this forum with Nigerian businesses. And then yesterday, the president missing the business forum with South Africa in Midrand.
Yes, I understand that. But I mean, the meeting still went ahead and President Ramaphosa was there and there was a representative from Nigeria, a Minister of Trade and Investment. I believe that the meeting was very positive. There are over 30 treaties that have been signed between the two countries, and a couple of them would include an easier visa facilitation. Hopefully that will begin to take place at some point. They discussed in the areas of transportation, agriculture, and energy. So all in all, I think it was a positive meeting, and it was well attended. And the two presidents gave us, a good feeling that things would begin to get better.
Yeah, but, you and I work in communications, and so we both know the importance of the optics of any kind of visits like this. It started off on the back of xenophobic tensions. And by the looks of things, that press briefing we saw yesterday between Ramaphosa and Buhari, it certainly looked that progress had been made in those very important conversations. But like I was saying, it's about the optics and what President Buhari is presenting. Well,
I think really the optics are that we have to move forward and look forward. Yes, we can see that there are some issues, but we're not going to satisfy everyone. He's not going to be able to speak to every single person. I was meant to go to the forum this morning, but I've sent what I want to talk about through someone who I know is attending. And one of my key areas is talking about the image of Nigeria. How do we position the country Nigeria? The same way that Brand SA has got a good vehicle which promotes brand South Africa. Yeah. So that for me, I mean, not all of us are going to be able to attend. Not all of us are going to be able to see him and speak to him. And I would rather stay on the side of positivity to say that this is a step forward. There is a binational commission. It does form up key members of government from each country and led by both presidents, so they're at the top of the agenda. So, I understand when you say optics, but for me personally, I think this is a step in the right direction, considering that I'm part Nigerian, part South African, so I'm having to explain things on both sides of the family.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talk about easier visa facilitation as one way that we can open up more cooperation between these two giants on the African continent. What are some of the other big issues that's going to help do that?
I think one of the other things that we could look at is cultural, understanding our culture, understanding each country's history properly, and maybe having some journalist academies. So taking some journalists to Nigeria for a cultural exchange, for an understanding of the political landscape, the media landscape, the lifestyle, and also the same for Nigerian journalists to come on this side. I think we're good in the sense of the film industries, but perhaps we can do better. And just learning to tolerate each other in a better way. No one wants there to be criminality, but criminality must be led by the law and done properly. Yeah. And if anyone is residing here or residing in Nigeria illegally, then it's up to the bodies to manage that, not for vigilante.
And it's going to be interesting to see how those calls, the similar calls that you've just made now, for South Africans who are living in Nigeria, Nigerians living in South Africa, to abide by the laws of that particular country. And we heard both presidents saying those exact things just yesterday. But we know that these xenophobic attacks in South Africa, they've raised their heads intermittently over the years a number of times. Is it going to take more than just these kinds of calls from the heads of state here?
I think it's going to take us, the citizens, participating and following what the example is. And the example is that we want to be integrated, we want to invest more. There are lots of us who are intermarried, so it doesn't help that we are going to fight or be against one another. I think they've definitely set the stage, and the rest of us have to just follow. And when it comes to monitoring these, I know that they've set up something called the early warning. Yes. So that early warning should be able to pick up some of the sensitivities very quickly if it does happen, so that we prevent large-scale attacks like we've just recently seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks very much for coming into studio. Nonya Mpo Omatola is Africa Group Communications Media Group, or rather Africa Communications Media Group, speaking to us there as we continue to unpack the visit by Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari.